Hi everybody, I hope you can all hear me. We've had a couple of problems just inviting people to actually participate, but that's fine because I can talk for England. And what I'm going to do is just talk through the presentation for the Boobettes and Crowdfunder campaign and talk about your projects. And then we can sort of do some questions and answers, which I think you'll be able to do by the question and answers screen on the top. So I've actually got a presentation to run through with you all. First up, I'll introduce myself. So I'm Jess. I'm the brand communications manager for Crowdfunder. I work on lots of campaigns, I work with lots of projects, and I also work on building content and creating exciting webinars, which seems to be just me tonight, but that's okay. I'm quite fine with that. So I'm going to start with just explaining what we are doing with Coppafeel, with Maren and the team. So we help people to raise funds from their networks and from their crowds and from their audiences that they've got access to. And so Coppafeel and Crowdfunder are working together to build a campaign, which means that lots of people get the opportunity to run projects to raise funds for something that's very dear to them. In your case, Coppafeel and the Boobettes. So we're hoping to give you the opportunity to run a project on Crowdfunder, reach out, raise some funds from your friends, family, from your crowd, from the people you work with, people that you know, and all that money will come together for Coppafeel and it will help the Boobettes service keep going. And that's what Crowdfunder is all about. It's about helping people to make their great ideas a reality and helping them to grow on those and expand those ideas. So that's it. I'm going to start with my presentation. So what I'm going to run through with you is just a few things, basically. I'll do a proper introduction to Crowdfunder. Hopefully you can all see that. Yep, you can. So we are, Crowdfunder is the UK's largest rewards-based crowdfunding site. We also run community shares projects, but I won't go into detail on that. We've raised lots and lots of money for thousands of projects across the UK, and you can see there what we've done and what we've achieved. Just trying to flip next. So what is crowdfunding? We've got 4 different types of crowdfunding that people know in the UK, and that's equity, lending, rewards, and community shares. But actually, I'm going to talk to you about rewards because that's what you're doing. You're going to be launching a project on Crowdfunder as part of the Coppafeel campaign. And in your project, you'll be setting up a few rewards that people can pledge on, and that way, that's how you raise your money. So that's a little bit about the different types of crowdfunding. I won't go through all of it. We also do community shares, but again, that's not relevant for you guys. So I thought I'd actually start by explaining what rewards-based crowdfunding is. Maybe some of you you've signed up to this, but you're not quite sure. But a really good example, maybe not relative to you guys right now with a charity crowdfund, but it's really simple. Phil from Leeds Bakery wanted to start up a business. He needed £8,000, couldn't get any money for it, so he created a project on Crowdfunder. Then he reached out to all the people he knew, all the networks that he's got access to, all the email databases, all the people on Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, with his campaign, with his project link, and lots of people pledged, and he ended up raising over £8,000 from 114 people. Now I know that's actually quite steep, and we're looking to raise much smaller amounts of money, but it's a really good example to show you how crowdfunding works. So, and Phil from Leeds is always a good example for us. So it's not actually just about raising funds on Crowdfunder, and hopefully this is really important for you guys as well. It's about raising awareness of what you do and yourselves as people, and the fact that you really strongly believe in supporting Coppafeel and getting that word out there about brand awareness and about breast cancer awareness and how you can help other people. So as long as you're, alongside raising money for Coppafeel, you're also being ambassadors of Coppafeel and telling everyone what you're doing and getting some money along the same way, which I think hopefully is actually going to be really good for you and actually going to make you feel really good about yourselves, because I'm proud of what you're doing. And that's a big part of crowdfunding. And for Coppafeel, they'll be talking about it. They'll be really proud of you and sharing it with their networks. And hopefully this means that all of you can start to think about how you can raise lots and lots of money. And obviously we're just at the start of that. So that's the benefits to projects. You get loads of people looking at you, you've got marketing, you've got lots of love going on there, which is absolutely brilliant. So next slide. How does it work? Now, this gets a little bit different for you guys because your setup with Coppafeel being so involved is slightly different to a normal crowdfunding project, but I'm going to talk about that as we go through. So basically, you create your project on Crowdfunder. Many of you have already done that. I know a couple haven't yet, but you go on, you put your sort of description in. Coppafeel are providing videos, so you don't need to worry about that, but you put your description in, you put your rewards in, which is really important, and I'll get onto that in a minute. And then you start sharing that project page once it's live, once you've got your go live date and everything's up and running and everything's looking really beautiful. So you share that idea with as many people as possible. You share that link, get it in the press, you talk about it in the pub, you put it all over your social media. We can help you do that. And then lots of people will see it. And hopefully all those people that see it really believe in you, they'll pledge to support you and your idea gets funded. That is as simple as that. That's how crowdfunding works. So now we get to a bit of detail. I'm going to start talking about the 6 steps that you need to take as crowdfunders that are going to help you become a success. So you need a team. Now that sounds really scary, and what that actually means, it's not scary at all. It means phone your family and say if somebody will start sharing it on their social networks for you. It means finding people that will help you talk about the project. Is there anyone that can help you? Is there anyone that's got access to a database that they'll like happily send out an email on your benefit? Things like that. Secondly, tell your story. Now, Coppafeel are giving everybody descriptions, so you'll be able to edit your description a little bit, put your name in there, make it yours, talk about why it's personal to you that you start raising this money and why people should pledge to support you so that you can support Coppafeel. Thirdly, you've got your crowd. Now, that's really important. So anyone you know on Facebook, anyone you know on LinkedIn, anyone you know on Twitter, get that message out to them. We can help you build some tweets. We can help share your messages and make sure that lots of people hear about it outside of your network. But it's really important that you know who that crowd are and who you're going to target first. Number 4, your rewards. Now, this is a funny one, and I know many of you will sort of be thinking, oh, well, maybe I should be doing a skydive and people should sponsor me for that. This works slightly differently in that actually you could go down to your local pub and say, I'm doing a crowdfunding campaign. Would you donate a meal for 2 that someone can pledge on my campaign? So that's really important. Little products and things and people that want to support you that you can add as a reward that's local to you. That means local people will pledge on that reward. So another example, there might be a jewelry shop in your town. They might donate a piece of jewelry and someone can pledge on that. Or even we could get really simple with it. You could offer to cook dinner for one of your friends and that could be a pledge and somebody might pledge on that. But be careful there because you can set how many pledges that can be pledged on, how many rewards can be pledged on. So, you know, if you put 10 rewards for your amazing cooking, then you might get 10 pledges and then you might end up having to cook 10 meals, which, you know, I'm not sure whether you want to do that or not, but it makes it, or you could cook a cake for someone. That's a really nice idea. Somebody might pledge on that if you're renowned for your cake making skills. So what I'm trying to say is just get really creative with those rewards. Think about things that people will pledge on to support you. Could be a tweet on social media, a shout out from your account. It could be a lovely message on Facebook. It could even be a little video that you recorded yourself and you send to that person. So really, really think about what those rewards might be. Number 5 is all about your target. Now, if I'm right, and somebody will correct me, I'm sure, I think you've all got targets of £500 and that's great. That's actually quite achievable. You know, how many people can you get a tenner off or a fiver off? It's much like sponsorship for a normal charity campaign. So your target's £500, but what's really important to know is you can overfund. And this means that you've got the opportunity to raise more than that £500 and all that money goes straight into the pot. So you can carry on going. If you've got lots of pledges, just keep them going. And it looks really good on your campaign as well when you've got the overfunding mark on it. So it's definitely something to aim for. And then number 6, as I keep saying, shout about it. And I'll talk you through these points in a minute about how you can do that. But what's one of the things that really gets me that people forget to do is they go out and they do radio interviews. They might even get on their local TV station. They'll most likely definitely get into their local press, their local newspaper. They forget to share the link. If you don't have your link to your Coppafeel Boobettes crowdfunder page, in that article, nobody will know where to go to support you. So just don't forget that link. So I'm just going to take a sip because I'm getting a hoarse throat from talking so much. It's definitely not normally a problem for me. So the next step. So again, this is a pretty scary slide, but it doesn't have to be. So you don't need to worry about someone making a video because Coppafeel, the brilliant team over there, have already done that for you, which is brilliant. Don't need to worry about it. But if you were ever going to crowdfund again, it's always really good to get someone on board to help you make a video. Leadership, drive and vision. If you know anyone that's crowdfunded before or has got a lot of experience in charity crowdfunding, maybe talk to them, see if they've got any networks that you can help, get your word into, get your project into. Market knowledge. This slide's definitely not the right one for this webinar, but I'm going to keep going. If you know anyone who's like an absolute whiz on social media, get on with them, see if they know anyone that can share your project, and also networking. If you've got any events coming up, October's a really good, you've got bonfire night, you've got loads of things going on, maybe you're down the pub, get people talking about your project, explain what you're doing, tell everybody what you're doing, and make sure that everyone in your network knows about it. And then, like the other one says, if you've got someone to shout about it, if your family are all talking about what you're doing, then you're going to get a lot of people hearing about it and pledging on your campaign. So there we go, the wrong slide, but I think I handled that okay. So next up is your story. As I mentioned, Coppafeel have put in descriptions, so your project page will already have a bit of information in it. But this is where you can sort of make it about your story. So whether you've been affected by breast cancer yourself or you know someone who has, and you want to share that story to inspire people to help you further the word and help you do more Boobette missions, then, put that into your description. It's really important that people really believe in you in your crowdfunding project. There's quite a good saying at the Crowdfunder office, which is people pledge on people. So you could be running any kind of campaign, but if someone believes in you and what you're doing, they're going to pledge. So, and also the Crowdfunder description that Coppafeel are providing will also talk about how the funds that you're raising will be spent, which again is really important to people. So there we go. Oh, video, again, it's done, but and the Coppafeel girls have done a brilliant job of it, so you don't need to worry about it. But we usually say to keep it short, make sure that everybody tells the story really well, everyone knows what they're pledging on. So there you go, that's the video. And then we've got identifying your crowd. And this feels a bit weird because you sort of think existing customers, who are they, corporate? Again, this is the wrong slide. But if you think about the people you know, so you've got your close friends and family, send them an email, or think about the people at work or the people in any clubs you're involved in, any yoga classes, just let them all know about it. Put them into little groups so that you know that you've got to talk to them, find a way to tell them about it and see if they'll be happy to support you. I think my screen sharing is going a bit weird here. So there we go, identify your crowd. And then you've got your rewards. Now, I did mention a little bit about this, but I'll go into a bit more detail for you. Events really work. So for you guys, maybe get everyone down the pub or everyone around your house, have a few drinks, maybe have a bite to eat, and then get everybody to come and pledge and say, oh, by the way, here's my crowdfunding video. That really works quite well. Products, if you know any shops nearby that are willing to donate a couple of bits and bobs that you can put as you're on your campaign, that's always a really good idea for people to pledge on. Experiences work really, really well. So if you've got someone that will donate an experience, something that's hard to buy or you don't see that often, it makes a really good pledging project, a pledge for a reward for a project. And then also the thank you postcards work really well, and sponsorship, not really one for you guys, but the postcards definitely work. So hopefully you've got that. So you guys will really, really want to think about the rewards you're going to post. And then I'm going to just come back to you for a little second and see how you're all getting on. We've got a few viewers still. I haven't lost all of you just yet. And I hope you're following with me on this. So we're now going to go back and look at what happens once you've got all of your projects up. Sorry, one of you's emailed me. I hope I have this right. I can see and hear you, but I can't see how to ask questions. Right, well, I'll work that out in a minute. and I'll get back to you on that one, because I thought it was going to be a lot easier just to ask questions. But for some reason, it's not letting me do it. Oh, you might be able to ask questions now because I've just handily clicked a question and answer button. So try that. And I'll carry on in the meantime. So I'm going to go back to after you've launched your project, and once you've got everything ready and you're happy and it talks about you and your idea, we're then going to talk about how you actually get funded. So, and it's much of what I've said about networking and about getting out there, but we'll just go through a few little bits to make sure that you're clear on all the things you can do. So one thing is meet up with local businesses. So you'll already hopefully have a few rewards for some people you know, but you might get someone in that wants to really support you and put a pledge in. And it's really good if they do that, actually, because if they pledge and then you share that pledge on your social media, you see that they've pledged and you go, thank you very much. It's really good for that business to be seen to be supporting you and your charity. So it's really good PR for them and a bit of marketing. So don't forget to pick up the phone. We live in a digital world, but you can't beat talking to someone on the telephone. And then you've also got emails, and get your team to pledge. If you've got someone doing your social media for you, ask them to put a pledge on and support you. Launch event or dinner or down the pub event or a few beers, or even at your yoga class is always a good place to get started. And then we get into the bits where you talk about sharing online. So Facebook is really obvious. You just share the link to your project page on your Facebook and share it, and then lots of people write a message and lots of people will see it and hopefully pledge on it. Facebook is actually known for being one of the leading places for pledges to come from. And I'll talk a little bit about your Crowdfunder dashboard in a minute, because there'll be lots of really key information for you on there that you can use to spread your campaign a little bit further. Local press is always a good shout, and I can help you with that. I'll get a sort of a press template across to you to help you write up your story, and then we'll look about what journalists are in your area and who's writing about crowdfunding and charity campaigns, and see if they'll do a piece on you. There's use a website. Now, if you've got access to a website and somebody doesn't mind, or if you write a blog, there's a widget on your project page which says embed this project. You can use the code on that widget even, and you can embed that on your blog or on your website. And it's a really good way. It just shows your project, and then people can pledge direct from there. So it's taking it out of the crowdfunder world and putting it into your world, and people can pledge directly, which is really good. Then you've got posters and flyers. If you fancy printing a few off, talking about your project is always a really good way to raise awareness in areas where you might be. So then you've got your posters and flyers, which I've just said, and your email database. If you know anyone who's got a big email list and doesn't mind talking about your campaign, it's a really good idea to get them to share that message for you. And also local radio. Everyone loves to be a radio star. So maybe see if you can get on your local radio, and we can probably help you with finding out who they are and what's going on in that area. So I'm going to move on to the next one now. And yeah, so I wanted to actually talk to you about your project dashboard, because it's something that a lot of people don't use to the biggest advantage. When you look at your project dashboard, it will tell you where your pledges are coming from. So you'll know that Facebook, hopefully, is where lots and lots of your friends and family are pledging, because they're seeing you sharing it on there. And once they've pledged themselves, they'll hopefully also share it on their Facebook. And that's how it grows, and that's how more and more people see it. Your dashboard will tell you where your pledges are coming from. It'll also tell you how much you're raising per day on average. So if you need to, it'll tell you how close you are to your target, how well you're getting on. And there's loads. If you really dig down into that data, there's loads of stuff there. And also you can thank people using your project updates from your project page, which is really exciting, because anytime anyone pledges, you start amassing a group of people that are really supportive of you and really want to help see you get funded. So you can keep sending these project updates. And it's really good fun, because you can send a video, you can send a little update, you can send images, little thank you messages. It's a really nice place to sort of build your own community there and talk to everyone. So that's kind of it. I think for going through the bits and bobs, I'll get back to the screen in a minute and see if there's some questions for me. Hopefully we've managed to work that out. But basically it's get a few friends together that can help you share your campaign, make a plan so you know what you're going to put on Facebook, what you're going to put on Twitter, LinkedIn, how you're going to get into those email databases, who you're going to phone, who you think your first 10 pledges will be, because that's really important that you get those early pledges on your campaign. Your project's already built, so that's not quite relevant for you right now. And then you just go out and get funded. And I'm really excited about this. I think you've all got brilliant projects, and I think it's going to be an absolute fantastic opportunity to get out there and talk about what you're doing. So I think I should come back on screen now. I'm here. Hopefully you're all smiling with me and I haven't scared you off. I'm going to have a little look now to see if there's any questions. Go to the 3x3 square thing at the top. I don't know what that means. Questions. Any questions? You should all be able to see that. Or maybe not. Or maybe you can't ask me questions and we haven't got this bit quite right. But oh, I've got Sarah's telling me how to get to the top right. Oh, and a box to ask questions comes up. Well, I've got that. Select, ding, questions. Done. And I'm answering it. So hopefully, if I don't have any more questions from anyone else. Oh, Helen's asked. Oh, this is good. Oh, we've got questions. I love this. So how do you decide how much money to put against each pledge? Or do people decide how much they pledge? Well, that's a really good question, and one that I didn't cover very well, actually, Helen. Thanks for that. Basically, each reward is worth a different amount. So you have £5 for you're going to make a cake for someone in the office. £10 you're going to go and cook someone dinner. That's probably not a very good example. £50 you've gone down to your local shop and somebody's donated something. £200 and so on and so on. So the rewards are set to different amounts, and that way you have a whole raft of rewards that people can pledge on according to what they want to spend and how much they can or do want to support you on your project. So hopefully that's answered that. So your rewards are different prices that people can pledge on, different values, I should say, and that works really well. So come on, somebody else, give me a question. I know you're all there. That's a good one, Helen. I think you should give me another one. And at least we know the questions section is working. So I'm trying to think of actually some little gems of advice I've got. We've got Facebook. Facebook does really work. I think I'm a big fan of the thank you video. So somebody's pledged 10 seconds on your mobile phone. Hi, thank you. Obviously with a bit more sincerity than that. And then you post it on your Crowdfunder update. Updates are really, really important because every time you send an update, it reminds your supporters, the people who've already backed you, to pledge. So, oh, here we go. This is good. Maren, as usual, always in with a good question. So she's asked me, Maren's asked me to talk about the importance of updating your donors, your pledgers, your backers on the progress of your campaign throughout the month. So that's actually where I was at, mostly talking about the updates on your Crowdfunder page. You type in your update and then you can let people know how well you're doing, how much money you've got left to raise, what percentage you're at, and that'll really inspire people to either pledge a little bit more or share it on their social media so that more people can pledge. So it's really good to keep people updated. You can do the update on Facebook, on Crowdfunder, and then you can share it on Facebook, share it on Twitter, and that way you're constantly keeping everyone in the know about where you're at with your campaign. So Maren, I hope that answered. What happens if you don't reach the £500 target? Good question, Helen. So I think, if I'm right, and Maren might have to correct me on this, that you're all on flexi funding projects, which means you'll still keep the money that you raise. A lot of the most successful crowdfunder projects are target only. So if you don't reach the target, then no money gets taken. But that's actually not the case, I don't think. I can check that, actually. Maren, write a question and confirm that one for me. I'm pretty sure it's flexi funding. So that's the question that answered for you, Helen, but we'll come back to that in a minute to double check whether you're on flexi, or I should know that. That's quite bad. So, and then we've covered you off, Maren. That's pretty good. Can you change the photo and description on your page after going live? Good question, Sarah. I like that. You can change things on your product, on your Crowdfunder page. You can add things to it. You can add photos and things, but your projects are quite set in that Coppafeel have done a really good job of getting everything ready for you so that it's really easy to use, but you can definitely edit it and add things into it. So, and the Crowdfunder team are always on hand on Twitter, Facebook, and support to help if you get stuck with any of that. So hopefully you will be able to change the photo. Yeah, you definitely can change the photo. That's a yes to your question. So, so I've got a problem completing that. Oh well, let's try another question. No, I think we're all done. So it's now telling me that I can't accept all the questions, but currently answering, done. Oh, there we go. I'm back on. So, oh yeah, okay. So Maren's just responded. I did get it right. You are on flexi funding campaigns. So there's two types of campaigns on Crowdfunder. One is flexi funding, where you keep everything you raise. So all the pledges that come in, even if you don't quite hit £500, that all still goes into the pot for the Boobettes campaign. And there's also the target one, which isn't applicable to you guys. So hopefully that's okay. But then for the future, you never know. Thanks, Maren. Needed that help there. So, yeah, I think that's us done. I'm going to just scurry off to email now and go, how was it? Was it useful? You've all got my email, so do get in touch if you've got any more questions. I'm really excited to see your projects go live. I'm on hand all the time to talk, as are our brilliant support team. Everyone at Crowdfunder is really excited to see you go live and to help you raise the funds for Coppafeel and for the Boobettes team. So we're all here to help. So thank you very much. I really appreciate the fact that you've taken the time to join our webinar tonight, and hopefully you've learned a lot. Oh, I've got one last question. Hang on. Let me just get it. Erica, oh, I like these questions. This is really good. It's very interactive. It's making me feel good about myself. Do we need to have pledges in before it goes live? This is so you can't actually pledge on your project till you're live, but we strongly advise that you have 5 to 10 people ready to pledge the minute you go live, because it's really important to show that you've got that support and that people are pledging on your campaign. And it's quite interesting that people actually don't like to pledge on an empty project, so it's always good to get a couple in of your friends and family. I recently ran my own Crowdfunder project, you know, reminding myself of the process and how it goes, and actually it is quite good. I got my mum and dad to pledge, and a couple of cousins and some friends, and made sure that I just had a few on there, because it just makes you feel really good about yourself, like you're actually getting somewhere as well. So good for you. So, oh, I have another question. I'm loving this. Keep it coming, girls. So that one's done. Pledges in before it goes live. Hopefully I answered that. So yeah, get some pledges lined up to go once you go live. And then next question, how often should we share the links before we start annoying people? Well, it's a good question, and it depends on you as a person. I think what we advise is always to have a plan beforehand. So maybe if you're getting pledges in, then you want to do a little update each day talking about how exciting it is that people are pledging on your campaign. If you're still working on getting those first pledges in, then maybe share it every couple of days. But how long till it starts annoying people? Well, how long till you get funded? You know, you need to keep reminding people. People might think, oh, I'll pledge later, or I'll pledge next week, or I'll pledge when I get paid. And they will need constant reminding. Much like sponsorship and chasing money, it's the same thing in that way. You know, you've got to make sure that everyone's constantly aware of it. And yeah, maybe they'll think you're annoying for 5 minutes, but actually it's an incredible cause. You're doing it for a really good reason. So I'd stick with it and actually keep going at it until you get those pledges in. So there you go, Erica. Be annoying. I am. So Sarah's come up with a great question. Okay. And she said, I have a question, which I love. So here we go, Sarah. If I want to set targets and then things I will do if I reach those targets, do I put them in just the description area? No, on your Crowdfunder campaign page, when you log in on your to build your project, there's a section that says rewards. If you click on there, you can add all the different rewards. You can add the value of the reward, and you can add what the reward is. So that way you've got them all lined up down the right-hand side of your page. Some people like to take pictures of what those rewards are and also add them to the description of your crowdfunder project. So you could do that as well. And actually, while I think of it, pictures of rewards make really good social media tweets and say, oh, you know, come and pledge on this reward. Here's a picture of it. It's going to be great. And then that way you drive people to your project. Always add the link to your project at the same time. So hopefully that's answered that question. Oh, this is really cool. I much prefer the questions to doing the actual presentation bit because I couldn't see what you could see. So yeah, so maybe if you guys just give me a shout out on the questions just to say that you're all done, and if you haven't got anything else to ask, and then I'll leave you to it. I think we all deserve a drink, a glass of wine maybe. Might get told off for saying that on air. But yeah, so hopefully it's all worked for you. I'm going to stop the broadcast shortly. We've been going for about half an hour, and I don't think there's really that much. Unless anyone wants me to go through any other sections, I'm really happy. And then obviously you can all contact us anyway. So yeah, thanks very much. And thanks from Crowdfunder. Really great to have you along. Cheers, guys. Oh no, hang on, I've got another question. Love this. So Sarah, good question. If I raise £500, I will run half a marathon. If I raise £1,000, I'll run naked through the streets. Okay, well, maybe that reward wouldn't quite sit that well on Crowdfunder, although you probably would get quite a lot of pledges on it. If you raise £500 and the reward for that person is to watch you run a half marathon, great, that's perfect. But you put that as a reward, but I can't see that that would work. So you don't wouldn't as a reward to run a marathon, because you'd be, unless somebody really wanted you to see you running that marathon. So you need rewards that people are going to, I don't know, things that people will pledge on to support you. So you could make them a cake, as I said before, or you could take them for dinner. I'm really not being very creative here, but you could go to your one of your local businesses or someone that you know that's got a business and get them to pledge or give you a reward that you can then pledge on, put up for people to pledge on. So hopefully, yeah, I think Maren's just said that she thinks Sarah means something separate to rewards. I'm not quite sure how that would work, because that's just sponsorship. You would want to be putting up rewards that people want to pledge on. So if I've not made that clear enough, I can carry on talking to you on email or on the phone. I'm always happy to have a chat. So hopefully we've covered that. But yeah, you need people, you need rewards that are really interesting, exciting, that people can pledge on from anywhere they like and will want to support you. And then you just send those rewards out afterwards, or you deliver them or make them happen. So hopefully I've covered that one. Sarah, sorry, caught me there with the running naked through the streets one. I wasn't quite sure how to handle that one. So, okay. Oh, Sarah's just clarified about milestones. But your milestone is reaching £500 with your rewards, and then seeing how much further you can get, how much more money you can raise with the rewards you've got. So, hopefully we've covered that one. You know, maybe not running through the streets naked. So thanks, Maren, for clearing that one up as well. And Erica, thank you. It was great. Big thumbs up. Fab to have you along. And hopefully we'll get to meet when we all celebrate this amazing success of the Boobettes crowdfunder campaign. So there we go. Thanks, everybody. Over to email, and I'll see you all soon. Cheers then. Bye.